You know that conversation you've been avoiding, the one that pops into your head at 11 o'clock at night and makes your stomach feel really tight? Yes, that one. Well, I need to tell you something about what's actually happening when we do this. I am the worst, and I mean genuinely the worst, at having these types of conversations. Now, I coach people on difficult conversations for a living, and I still avoid them like the plague. I remember having to give some feedback to somebody who just wasn't doing work to the standard that they were supposed to. And every single day, I'd tell myself, I'll say something tomorrow. Every single day. Do you know what I did instead? I dropped hints. I was nice about it. I hoped that they would just figure it out. But here's what was actually happening. And this is the part I'm kind of embarrassed and a little bit ashamed to admit. While I was being nice, while I was avoiding the discomfort of one honest conversation, the situation and the work got worse. But more than that, I was getting worse. I'd wake up and immediately feel this absolute low level dread. I started being short with other people. I'd replay what I should have said in the shower over and over again. And I was spending more mental energy avoiding this one conversation than the conversation would have taken itself. And the person I was avoiding talking to, well, they had no idea. They just thought everything was fine. So they kept doing what they were doing, and I kept resenting them for it. I was feeling more and more inauthentic every single day. So here's what finally broke through for me. A good friend of mine pulled me aside and basically said to me, "You know that they can tell something's wrong, right? You're not protecting them, you're just making everything a bit weird." And that hit me, and it hit me like a truck because I told myself I was being kind. I was avoiding conflict because I didn't want to hurt anybody. But what I was actually doing was making the other person feel really confused and anxious because they could tell that something was off. And I was also making the eventual conversation so much harder because now there was months of weirdness built up. I wasn't avoiding conflict, I was just choosing a slower, more painful version of it. Avoiding difficult conversations isn't kindness, it's a betrayal. It's a betrayal of both people. And I get where this comes from. For me, it's a pattern that started way back in childhood. But here's what I had to understand: you're betraying yourself because you're teaching yourself that your feelings don't matter, that your needs aren't important, that other people's comfort is more valuable than your own. And you're actually betraying the other person too, because you're denying them the chance to understand, to adjust, to be in an actual real relationship with you instead of with the fake version of you that pretends everything is fine. When I finally had that conversation, the one I'd been avoiding for months, you know what happened? It took 12 minutes. 12 minutes for something I'd been dreading for months. And yeah, it was uncomfortable, but it wasn't cruel. It wasn't explosive. It was just honest. And you know what else? The other person said, "I'd wish you'd told me sooner." So if you're avoiding a conversation right now, and I know you are, because we all are, I want you to ask yourself something. What is this avoidance actually protecting? Because I bet it's not protecting the other person. They probably already sense something's off. And it's definitely not protecting you. It's just slowly draining you. So here's what I do now when I feel that familiar dread about a conversation I need to have. I ask myself, what's more uncomfortable, having this conversation or continuing to betray myself? And then, and this is the hard part, I give myself a deadline. Not someday, not when the time is right. I pick a specific time in the next 48 hours. I put it in my calendar and I do it. Not perfectly, not without anxiety, but I do it. Because here's the truth, you're not suddenly going to become someone who loves difficult conversations, but you can become someone who has them anyway. Someone who chooses temporary discomfort over long-term resentment. Someone who shows up honestly, even when it's hard. So what's it going to be? Another night of replaying what you should have said, or 12 minutes of honesty? If this resonated with you, if you're currently avoiding a conversation and feeling that familiar knot in your stomach, drop a comment and just say 12 minutes. You don't have to explain, I'll know, and sometimes just naming it helps. And if you want more on how to actually have these conversations without them going completely sideways, I've got a new video coming out shortly. I'll see you next time.